we go. Oh, sorry, Andy. Caught me off guard.
Gary, I'm loving the decorations.
I've just popped them up there 2 minutes ago.
Oh, you've made a smashing job there. Your man shed is looking quite festive, Gary. Compliments.
Thank you so much, Andy. I thought I'd make the effort this evening since it's Panto land this evening, Panto night.
Looking forward to it, Gary. It's going to be an absolutely cracking night. But you've done a smashing job. That tree must have taken you hours to decorate, Gary.
I took the day off work, Andy. I went to the garden centre. I chose a nice tree that would fit in with the ambience, nice lights. Put it up, hid it away, and then brought it out. I think it looks apart.
It's looking great. I've got absolutely no Christmas cheer about me at all, Gary. No lights.
Oh, humbug, Andy. What you like?
I have, however, done the annual deed, Gary.
Oh, aye.
I've been up the loft. I've been up the loft, Gary.
What you done up there?
I brought the Christmas tree down.
Aye, we were in the process of bringing ours down, and we think it's getting in the tip.
Oh,
because we've got another one of these. We've got another one of these. These are cracking wee trees. They come in a pizza box, and you go vroom, and up they go. Brilliant things.
Gary, breaking news. Get a weather report in from Chicago.
Yeah.
It's
no way.
Snowing.
Superb, Elizabeth. That's really good.
It's snowing. Oh, perfect. That's how wonderful festive weather, Elizabeth. Good to see you. We've got a few usual.
Things they are changing in America.
Few, yeah, indeed. Not long now. Hey, Annette, how are you? Ho. Merry Christmas from Annette.
I'm getting in the spirit, Andy.
Fantastic, Gary. Absolutely fantastic. So the place is looking great. I'll need to obviously do something for next week, Gary. But you're right, we've got a fantastic show lined up tonight. And I must say, welcome along, folks. If you're joining us live on Facebook, or if you're joining us live on YouTube, welcome. This is episode 34, Gary.
34, yeah. And welcome to everyone on Catch Up Radio. On Paisley FM, to all our listeners on Paisley FM.
Because we go out on a Thursday night on Paisley FM.
We do every Thursday night on Paisley FM. They squeeze an hour's show of ours from an hour and a quarter into an hour. So it goes a bit like that if you in Paisley FM. But isn't that great? Partnerships.
I've got a breaking weather report, more weather report, right? So we had it was snowy in Chicago. Our international viewers are watching. Yeah. It's snowing in New York as well.
Oh, and another breaking news. What's it like in Kilbarcon?
It's raining in Kilbarcon.
Oh, yeah. Santa hats don't happen until Christmas week.
No Santa hats until Christmas. And you're getting a lot of love for the lights. So we've got Jackie loving the lights. Norma was asking you where you got the blue lights, Gary.
Out a bag up the loft.
That's my doorbell, by the way. Sorry, I don't need to get it.
Are you going to go get it? Is it the Provi man? I'm telling you, Jeannie Godley.
There's somebody. My daughter has been baking cakes for charity. She's a great wee baker, and she's been making. In fact, not cakes. She's been making chocolate bombs for charity. So you get a chocolate. You put it in a mold, but you put in marshmallows and cocoa powder. You put it in a mug, pour in hot milk, and the bomb explodes, and it's delicious. All the profits are going to the Accord Hospice, Gary.
Oh, well done, Andy. Of course, Andy, that's the Profits charity this year.
Yeah, so that's some folk coming now and getting their chocolate bombs. Now, we've got a message in here from Tony.
Yeah.
Is Tony meant to be joining us, Gary?
Tony is joining us.
Is he? He's not in the green room yet. No, green room yet.
I've sent him the thing.
Tony, you'll need to join us. I'll put a link up.
That's a simple way of doing it for Tony. But I've sent it. He must be in snail mail up in sunny Foxbar.
Right, Tony, it's in there. Just click that link and you'll be able to join us in the green room.
Yeah. But Andy, I was just thinking there, and we were chatting.
Go on.
How many shows have we done now?
34.
34 shows, Andy. What's that all about?
It's the longest running chat show in Paisley, Gary. Come on.
And Andy, I don't know anyone that's ever done 34 weeks in a chat show. Hold on, I've tapped something. It's behind me. It was behind me.
I don't think even Graham Norton has done 34 weeks in a trot.
They all have a break.
They all have a break.
It's like Parliament, Andy. They all have this long break. And I heard today Parliament's going to shut down. Crazy world we live in.
It's not like they've got anything important to sort out, like the shambles that is Brexit.
No, nothing important to sort out.
Or COVID. Vaccines to roll out.
No COVID crisis over Christmas. No Brexit carry on. What a mess.
Tony, I've copied. This is a special announcement for Mr. Tony Lawler. Tony, the link is in the Facebook chat. Tony, if you want to copy and paste that into your browser, you'll be able to join us on the show, Tony. Do you remember going into Arnott's?
Yes.
You were wee, and they put like a message out over the tannoy, and it was, Mr. Lawler, telephone call, please. Do you remember that? the woman that worked in Arnott's would sing out the wee notice, and it was always a telephone call for someone.
Yeah, do you remember the announcements at the baths?
It's like if you had a red band on and you had to come out because your time was up.
Green. I always remember it as being green. Green bands, please leave.
Yeah, hold on a second, Gary.
What's happening? What is it? 7 minutes past.
I've got my cup of tea, Gary. Right, but I've been made more festive.
Oh, goodness sake!
Look at this. There we go. That's all right, isn't it? You
look like what's his name? Mark Bolan.
I don't know if I could last with this on all night. I'll have to stick it up here. Let's just stick it up over the action figures.
That's good. That's a hat in the making, Andy.
That's as festive as it's getting tonight, Gary.
That's good. Well, there's a challenge on, Andy, for next week.
Right, Tony. Tony, if you can find the link, and Gary's emailed it to you, you'll need to jump on the show. But there's a couple of things before that have caught our eyes through the week. Have they not, Gary?
Has anything caught your eye, Andy, or is it just
there's been a few things. And I know we're waiting on Tony, so we're going to kill a wee bit of time for a moment because I've got a couple of videos to show. Now, folks, we had a fantastic show last week. It was a Paisley Historical Buildings special last week. And what it pointed out more than anything is that we're so lucky in Paisley. We've got so many architectural gems, and we can't make the mistakes of the past and see them go to rack and ruin and falling down. And I mentioned about a video that some chap had created, a guy called Ian Young of Paisley in the 1900s. Well, I was contacted by Gavin Divers of Paisley Heritage, which is one of Paisley's Facebook pages. And Gavin very kindly gave me access to the video. So I'm actually going to play the video, Gary, and I'm going to hopefully unmute our microphone so that we can talk over it as well. But this is a fascinating video. So I thought I'd bring it to you now. So let's get that playing. Gary, I thought I could mute our microphones. You can't unmute your guests because they've chosen to mute themselves. Right, you don't do anything. I'll unmute you, Gary.
I'm not.
Gary, you need to unmute yourself.
I hadn't touched my mute, but I've unmuted myself now.
Anyway, check this out. This is Paisley in the 1900s. A wee bit of feedback there, maybe, but that was the entrance to the once famous Harris Tavern.
That's where the troglodytes met, Andy.
Well, you've obviously read it, the Troglodytes Club. That's a great name. That could be a good bar or something like that. Good to a society for creatives.
It'd be good to look at that history and see if it could be brought back.
Well, need to look into it. And then you'll love this, Gary, this image. So it pans round, and that white part down at the bottom is the actual pub itself. That is the Terrace Tavern down below.
That needs to come back, Andy.
Looking out onto the car.
Look at that. You know what I can spot there, Andy?
What can you spot, Gary?
I can spot the spirit of Paisley's future. It's there. It's there, under the piazza.
It's hiding. It's hiding.
Unfortunately, these are things that will never come back, but there you go.
But isn't this just a fascinating video that this chap has created? And
Andy, what's it made on?
What is he creating it in? I don't know what package, 3D computer graphics. It might be something like SketchUp or 3D Studio or something like that.
That would take a while, would it not?
Well, he's put a lot of time into it, and you look at the detail, that's pretty accurate. And obviously, sadly, that building has been demolished. But then he whipped over the building here and goes into County Square. So we've got Gilmer Street Station. Look at that. That looks fantastic.
Isn't that amazing?
And we're so fortunate to have buildings like that. And there's a couple more, not too long a video, but you can see obviously the Pat Lap post is still with us, thankfully.
That arch there, Andy, I'd bring that arch back.
Where does that go, Gary? That was into, was there not an old taxi rank there?
Yeah, but it goes right through to Dooley's.
Oh, right. Open that area up and then pan round and this.
Andy, mute the video.
Mute the video? Oh,
mute the video.
That, Gary.
Nah, Paul can't hear us.
Can he do that, Paul? I'm no sophisticated.
You need to tell him.
There you go. Absolutely wonderful. So that caught my eye, Gary.
That's smashing. I know we were talking over that, but folk couldn't hear us, so...
Folk couldn't hear us. I know it's...
Just as well.
You've only got limited control in this platform that we're on, and once a video is playing, it's playing. So that was one thing that caught my eye, and I know you've got a few things that caught your eye, Gary.
Yes, there is.
So you go for one of yours. We'll mix it up.
I noticed just today, actually, you remember we had mod stuff on a few months ago.
We did.
We had mod stuff in October, and it was on live, and we get the Gremlins were there, and it was a one-off. Well, the Bungalows just announced that mod stuff will be replayed on Friday, this Friday, at 7 o'clock. So if you want to watch the whole of mod stuff this year, 3 brilliant bands, Friday, go to the Bungalows event, and you'll see the whole lot. That's going to be great again.
Ah, fantastic. So that they're going to be replaying. That's going to be out on Facebook and YouTube?
On Facebook, yep.
Facebook. What else caught your eye, Gary?
Remember we had Lisa from In Motion?
We did.
Well, it caught my eye that is going live. The monologues are going live, premiering tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. So if you want to see a couple of contributors to our show as well, Andy, John McIntyre has written a monologue, and so is Terry McTernan. So they've got actors that they're speaking what they have written. So right. as non-writers, Lisa from In Motion Theatre has been coaching the guys and coaching a number of people in Fergusley to bring the story of Fergusley right out into the open. And we know there's no one better than John and Terry to tell Fergusley's story. So that's really interesting. That was on our show, and it's on tomorrow night. It's premiering tomorrow night.
That'll be good. And we've got Renfrewshire Leisure, Paisley Arts Centre and Future Paisley, all in association with In Motion Theatre. And if you can't read that on the screen, folks, inmotiontc.co.uk is the website that you want to go to. That's Thursday, 17th of December, 7 p.m. And you can hear the voice behind our town. So that sounds pretty good.
That's good, Andy. Talking about voices behind our town, is Tony around?
Tony, he is. Well, we bring Tony in. Let's go to Mr. Waller. Tony, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you very much. How are you doing, gents?
All right. How's it going, Tony? Is the tech all right?
The tech's okay. I think it's just me being an old Luddite. I was one of the original troglodytes.
I didn't want to say, Tony. I didn't want to say.
I thought so.
I've actually been in there. It was when we were doing one of the Glen Cinema excavations at the building. We went down underneath and went into that pub.
Wow. What was it like, Tony?
It was really just a dark black hole.
Right.
And it was really damp.
Uh-huh.
And I think I could make out there was still a table or something in it, Yeah. But it's incredible. So it's still there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get rid of that monstrosity of piazza, and then the pub's waiting for us, for goodness sake.
Absolutely.
It seems to be a common thing, that, Tony, get rid of that piazza. We need to do something about that.
I agree.
Do something about that.
I was going to ask, Tony, did you get your round in?
No, I did not. I'm a Paisley man. Deep pockets, short arms.
Well, Tony, you used to banging a drum and having the pints coming to you, are you not?
That's very true indeed, yes.
I forgot that. That was the rules.
I know. I've put my application in for the job once Tony decides to hang up his drumsticks, because a free pint and a walk down Paisley, that's not too bad at all. But Tony, you mentioned you were on for the excavation as part of the Glen Cinema, and that's why you're obviously on to talk to us tonight. So a little bit of a kind of more serious note, folks, with Tony and the Glen. So Tony, do you want to give us an update on the plans that you have for the memorial service this year, Tony?
Yes, of course I will. This will not take too long, actually. Basically, what's going to happen this year, given the COVID situation, and we want to make sure that everyone's safe and healthy, we're going to do the commemoration online. So we've already done some filming up around Hawkhead Cemetery, around about the Glen Cinema Memorial Stone there. And we'll have... I'll follow the same sort of format, though. I'll say a few words. Paisley's poet, Fred McNeil, will read The Children in the Glen. We've got the minister, Reverend Gibson, the new minister at Paisley Abbey. He's going to say a few words in a prayer. And my sister Carol and Tom Ury will sing their song. And we'll film that, we'll put it all together and broadcast it. We're going to broadcast it on Paisley Community Trust's socials and YouTube at 11 o'clock. It'll be. I was trying to find a time a bit kind of that would match when the actual matinee happened, but I can't find it in the report. So I thought we'll go for 11 o'clock. Normally we have the wreath laying ceremony at 10:30 in Hogmanay morning, but it will be broadcast, if that's the correct terminology. I'm not sure. Broadcast online from 11 o'clock on Hogmanay. Okay. So, folks, please come along and watch this space.
That's basically
a wider opportunity to attend and show their respects. And we'll put a Facebook event up and broadcasting into the event, and then asking people to say they're attending and share it around. Yeah,
absolutely. So, folks, if you want to take part on Facebook and YouTube to watch the event itself, just watch Paisley Community Trust page for details of how to join. But a reminder that the event itself will be taking place or being broadcast. Please do not go down to the Cenotaph in Paisley. There will be nothing on at that time. Where everything has been pre-recorded, and that will be going out pre-recorded on the 31st of December at 11 a.m. So if you want to all join in and pay your respects at that time, then Tony, I'm sure you would be delighted to see a large audience online watching that programme.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I'd be really chuffed. We can't forget these 71 kids, but we've also got to keep safe in the 21st century.
Yeah,
it's really important that we stress that we're not doing a ceremony at the Cenotaph.
Yeah.
It will be online.
Yeah.
Can't say that enough. Keep safe, folks. Please keep safe.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Excellent,
a great
Tony.
message all round, Tony. And thanks for coming on and announcing that, Tony. We'll follow up with all the Facebook links and the announcements on Facebook, and ask everyone watching tonight and everyone to let their neighbours know, let their friends know that there's an online commemoration for the Children of the Glen Memorial. Tony will be leading that off at 11 o'clock in Hogmanay.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great, Tony. Thanks so much for coming on the programme tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you over the next few days, Tony.
Okay, right. Take care. Stay safe, folks.
Thanks, Tony.
Right. Bye just now.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye, Tony. Bye-bye. Great. Well, it's an absolute privilege for Paisley Community Trust to be broadcasting that. It's such an important, sad event in Paisley's history, and it's so important, as Tony says, that we don't forget those children that suffered that Hogmanay. And I think as we broadcast that, we'll be thinking about this year and how it's been, and it's been a challenge. Tony's message very much stay safe, but we look forward to next year with our families for good times ahead. So it's a real privilege to be able to show that, Gary.
Yeah, and most definitely a period and a moment of reflection, Andy. When I attend that at Hogmanay every year, it's very solemn. The two survivors that we know of that attend are there, and it's very poignant. Andy, me and you were at the Abbey service, and it was very emotional.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the two survivors, we just get a wee message in there from Piero. So the two survivors that are still with us, thankfully, today will be informed about it, and hopefully they'll be able to join and watch in online. And I'm sure it'll be a very fitting service that Tony and his team will be putting together.
Okay, so I appreciate Tony coming on and telling us that. So from one commemoration and charitable thing to maybe touch on the last thing that's caught my eye this week, Andy.
Yeah.
Which is quite important if you're interested in volunteering on Christmas Day. The St Mirren Charitable Foundations. Incidentally, Andy, you seen that logo?
It was a fix.
Well, there was a competition for the logo, and that one there with the scarf hanging around the bottom of the crest won.
I'm sure the one that I had picked was way ahead, and then a whole dump of votes came in at the last minute and skewed the results. I think it's I think it's all joking aside. I think it's a wonderful logo, and I'm sure it'll be everyone will get behind it at the Charitable Foundation. It looks fantastic. Yeah.
So the behind this, Andy, the festive friends, volunteers needed for the St Mirren Charitable Foundation is on Christmas Day they have a meal up at the stadium for people that are on their own or isolated or lonely.
Yeah.
Now, of course, with COVID, we can't have that happening this year.
Yeah.
So they're asking for volunteers to get in their cars. Go down to the stadium, pick up some hampers and some meals, and deliver them out into the community. So if that's something that you can spare an hour or two, then email foundation@stmirren.com, and I'm sure the team at the foundation there will welcome you with open arms to help out.
Yeah, so everyone take a wee note of that email address, foundation@stmirren.com, if you want to volunteer some of your time over the festive period delivering. And that's Christmas Day, isn't it, specifically, Gary?
Yes, Andy, Christmas Day.
Christmas Day specifically. So if you can spare a couple of hours to help them out, it would be really, really, really appreciated. Foundation@stmirren.com. Great. Okay, Gary. Well, listen, I think we better get on with the show then, because we have got two absolutely fantastic guests lined up.
One with hair and one without hair. That would be great.
No, we can't just have bald folk on this programme, Gary. We'll need to.
We're trying to balance it, Andy. It's very difficult to balance that kind of baldism. So we've invited a guy specially on tonight because he's got hair.
Because he's got hair.
and other talents.
Fantastic. Well, without further ado, Gary, I'm going to bring into our wonderful production here the one and only hairy Andy McGregor.
Hi there. That's some introduction.
Well, we try and mix it up, Andy, and make our guest feel at ease.
There's nothing better than being introduced as the hairy Andy McGregor.
Well, in comparison to both myself and Gary, you've certainly brought the hair ratio count back up to almost an acceptable level, Andy. So appreciate that. But have you ever gotten a gig before because of your hair?
No, I did find a wife though. I was in a rock band, and I think the long hair was the start of it all.
Ah.
Well, was it down? Was it?
No, here.
Oh, aye.
I don't like going to a hairdresser. I still do that. It kind of grows to there, then I get it cut back, and then.
Was it like Phil Oakey? Was it a Phil Oakey thing for the Human League?
Oh no! It's more like Kurt Cobain, like hadn't been touched, barely washed. Very attractive look.
And there is the difference in generations. You know, Gary's referring to Human League from the 80s, and Andy, you're referring to Kurt Cobain from the 90s, I'm guessing, 2000s maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm a Britpop kid, so Kurt Cobain was the start of my musical journey.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, Andy. Nothing wrong with that at all, Andy.
No.
Yeah. Good. Well, listen, Andy.
Me and Andy have got memories of here, so that's a positive. And we can look back fondly.
We've got pictures. We've got pictures of us with hair. We'll maybe need to get them on the show some night. As I said, I've had 3 perms in my lifetime, and and then the whole sun-in incident, folks. If you've ever thought of using sun-in, I don't even know if they make it. It's probably banned. It's probably a chemical weapon now or something like that. But if you're ever thinking about sun-in, this is what happens in your 40s. Step away from the sun-in.
Anyway, Andy, welcome to the show. Normally when we invite people on, we ask, for those that might not know you or what you do, if you could give us just a brief introduction, say hello to everyone.
Great. So I'm Andy McGregor. Apparently I'm hairy. I'm a theatre director and a writer and a composer. So I make theatre shows, basically.
Fantastic. And of course, Andy, the lockdown and COVID has been a massive challenge, not just to Pace, but to the whole of the industry, the creative industry. Has it affected you personally and the people around about you?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's important. Yeah, it's like I think I was meant to have 5 or 6 shows on this year, and that became, well, at one point it was none, and then different things came through. I don't know if people had seen the Scenes for Survival that the National Theatre of Scotland did with BBC, which was like little short, like 6-minute videos and things, and that was a great thing to just to employ people. And then this government money came out, and that's got fed to theatres, and that's why we are here about to do a Panto in Paisley, because this wasn't happening whatever it was 5-6 weeks ago, and then it was like, oh, there's money there to employ freelancers like myself and the actors and all the other people involved in the show. So so we're going from there's not going to be a Panto to it's the end of November. Is it too late to make a Panto?
Was it that short notice, really?
Well, maybe the start of November. I think it's been 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks since I was asked. Do you think we can do something? So it's been a ridiculously short time. But the plus side is that there's I've had 6 months off, so I'm feeling pretty up for it.
Yeah, and the thing is with COVID, I mean, we've seen the arts and the entertainments and the live events industry pretty much decimated. And it's still going to be a wee while before they recover. So I guess the easy thing for for Pace would have been to say, you know what, we're just not going to do a panto this year. It's just too much. Obviously you can't do it in person. And then, of course, this isn't in person. You've embraced all these new technologies that we're discovering, Andy. So you've not only had your work cut out with you in terms of short period of time, but you've actually had to deliver it in a way that's never really been done before.
Yeah, so tomorrow we go into the part of rehearsals. It's called tech. So that's normally when the actors are rehearsed and the show's kind of ready, and then you go into the theatre, and that's about getting the lights ready and the sound ready. And there's a set way that you do it. But tomorrow we're going in, and no one's ever done it before. So, because the way that we're doing it is that the actors are basically in a green box. And then what will happen is that we will then project the different backgrounds using we've got 3 different cameras set up. So we'll swap between the 3 cameras. We'll have different backgrounds happening using the green screens. And then we've also been filming over the last a couple of weeks as well. So there'll be intercut there'll be live performance. The actors will be able to talk to the audience like we're talking now via Zoom. And then we'll go back to other video and all that sort of thing. So there's all this different stuff that none of us know exactly like how it's all going to fit together. And that's been it's been the fun in it as well, but it's always been that way that from day one, this was the idea was like, we can't do a live show. So let's write a show that is designed for this kind of way of working. So hopefully it'll all come together. We don't know.
Because what I'm picking up from you there, pass me by. I was thinking, in all this stuff that you do, you can do it in advance. Make sure you get it ready, broadcast it, and it's done. But there's a big part of this that you're doing live, isn't there?
Yeah, and the most exciting thing is, so people who have bought, you can buy tickets for it. They're sold out now. But everyone can watch it. But if you had bought a ticket, then you get sent a pack. So a big box will arrive, and it has lots of different things in it. And you'd be like, what are all these things? I won't say what's in it. That's a spoiler. But then as the show progresses, the characters will be like, oh, no, you need this. And so the audience who'll be on Zoom, they can also, the actors will be able to see them. We'll get out the different objects and that sort of thing. And then it also allows us to chat to the audience, like the classic Panto things, like what is are they a goodie or are they a baddie? And you can go into someone's house and chat to them. But at the same time, so that's about 30 odd people per show. I've done that. At the same time, though, that's sold out, but anybody can watch the show. You don't get the box and you can't take part in it, but you can still watch it for free on YouTube and Facebook, I think, as well.
Yeah. And I guess ultimately, this whole new format is really challenge you from a creative point of view, and it'll challenge all the actors as well from a delivery point of view, because we've all been, in our working lives since March, since lockdown, Zoom is an everyday thing. It's on all the time. Zoom fatigue is something that we're all used to now. But the big part, I guess, of an audience is they're there in the room. You can hear them laugh, you can hear them shout out, you can hear them interact. And I guess that's going to be very different for you. How do you think you'll cope? I mean, I appreciate that there's interaction going on, and I guess they can write things up maybe on the screen or whatever, but how's that going to challenge you in terms of getting that bounce back from your audience that you need and desire? Yeah,
that's what's been interesting, talking to the actors about that, because sometimes if you're in a show and if you're watching your show and the actors are doing what they're doing, and if the audience aren't really laughing, then what the actors tend to do is to try harder and to really, really force it. Until by the end, they're like, why are they not laughing? Just because, if their audience is off or whatever. And it doesn't make it funnier. It just makes the show get more tense. And so we just need to, from the off, we've been like, we don't have an audience. And actually, you don't need to shout. You've got a mic right here. You don't need to have that same kind of push that you need to engage a live audience. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be different for the actors. They're not going to get that immediate feedback, that you get like, oh, this show is going really well. You're just going to get the sound of 5 technicians or whatever, clicking buttons in the room. So it's going to take a while, I think, for the actors to get used to it. But I am sure that they will do a good job. I know they're watching this. So I just want to make that very clear. I have absolute faith in at least 3 of them.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I can hear you still directing them now, and that's a
Yeah, and I think, I mean, the Pace Panto is always, I mean, it's an institution in Paisley. You go along to the Pace Panto and it's just fantastic. And every year it's been getting better and better and better and better. And you've been bringing in different technologies as well. So it's not as if it's just traditional. I think, was it last year you had sort of almost sort of holographic projections and things like that brought in as well. So, you have been moving. So I guess it's only natural, well, maybe during COVID aside, but it's, moving on to a much broader audience. And of course, as you maybe heard tonight, Andy, this show, although it's predominantly for Paisley community, we have loyal viewers that join us from Chicago, that join us from New York and various other places. So I guess given this new format, the Paisley Panto could be broadcast all over the globe.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, we've sent packs out to Texas, for example. People have bought tickets in Texas. And yeah, that was one thing I was thinking, because I think pantomime's, it's a funny thing because it's so like British, and everyone in Britain knows what pantomime is, but you don't tend to see it like represented, like, in American films about Britain, there's always the royal family, there's always Big Ben. But I think pantomime's quite a like hidden cultural thing that everyone here knows, but is maybe not understood worldwide. So like my American friends, it'd be great for them to tune in and go like, what is this? Why does the audience know what to say and when to say it? You know what I mean? It's like, why is that man dressed like a woman but he's not acting like a woman? It's not drag. It's such a weird, like, to us it's like, what's pantomime?
Yeah,
but it's a really strange concept, I think, to an outside eye.
Yeah,
well, Elizabeth will be tuning in from Chicago, and she's a great fan of our show, a big supporter of our show. So that'll be, if the timings work out, that'll be a Chicago audience, possibly New York audience adding to that. So hopefully they do. But to give them an idea of what the Panto's about this year, what's the story?
Yeah, so we decided not to go for a traditional Panto story because of all the things we're talking about. It's a kind of different kind of concept. So the idea is it starts in Paisley, and there are two characters who are Widow Swanky and Billy Bob. So the Dame and the Buttons character are in Paisley, and they rob a magic penny that she finds in the ground, and she ends up in Pantoland. And to get out of Pantoland, it's like a total hero's quest. She has to collect 3 magical items from 3 different Pantos in Pantoland. So we go and we see Cinderella, and we go and see Sleeping Beauty. We go to Jack and the Beanstalk as the two characters. And so two of the actors are the same throughout, and the other 2 are always are playing different characters as they go through like the different lands in Pantoland. All at the same time being chased by an evil witch.
Lost in Pantoland. I've been lost in Leisureland once, but I've never been lost in Pantoland.
That's a brilliant concept of visiting different aspects of Panto. And I seen on the flyer there, sponsored by Creative Scotland. Is that how it all came about, Andy?
Yes. So it's the government money that went to Creative Scotland. The Creative Scotland money went to the Paisley Arts Centre, and then the Paisley Arts Centre brought in the expertise of Pace. Is how I understand it's all came about, and the council are in there as well, helping all that happen. So I say like the creative heart of it is Pace, and the financial heart of it comes from Creative Scotland.
Brilliant.
Well, that's great collaboration, Andy. That's well done to everyone.
Well, we've got a few images, but we've got a wee video. And somebody said, somebody in the comments was wanting to, do you have any clips that we can see? Well, Peter, as if by magic, we have got a wee clip lined up. So let me get to the right button here, and I'll play this little short teaser video for everyone to enjoy. So,
like behind the scenes kind of shots to give a kind of taste of like more the making of it rather than what the actual thing will look like.
This is an exclusive, Andy, isn't it?
This is right off my phone.
So, folks, you've heard it here, an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Lost in Panto Land from Pace.
That looks like a lot of fun, that, Andy.
Yeah, that's working with Media Monte, who are also based in middle of Paisley, to make the kind of filming and do the green screen. That was our attempt. We're mixing the train spotting Choose Life sequence with Panto. That's what that was.
That was Alan Orr going over the bonnet of the car, wasn't it?
That was Alan Orr damaging his own bonnet of his own car.
Giant dent in it.
Does he do his own stunts?
Yeah, I'm not joking. Like, there's some moments in the Panto as well when I say, Alan, if you can just jump on stage now, he's like a rocket. I think, honestly, international stuntman. That's, he should be looking that up. I think if there's any jokes out there.
He's missed that.
Does he have tantrums like Tom Cruise?
Oh yeah, so no one has tantrums like Tom Cruise. That was something else.
But just before we come to our next guest, there was a wee bit in that clip that I liked, because you could see the actors on the sort of green screen background, and then we get a sneak peek, it panned down, and you got to see what it's going to look like, and you actually got some sets made up. So these are miniature sets, and I'm guessing these form the backdrops that some of the actors are going to be appearing in. Is that correct?
Yeah, so when you're working in a normal theatre show, it's the designer will always make a little model box,
right?
So that when you're planning lighting, or you're planning like where you're moving the actors, you have this model box that's to scale. And so it was Fraser Lappin's a designer, and he had this idea of, instead of going on to Google or whatever and finding a picture of a castle, why not? Because he's a great, as you can tell, a great model maker. Why not make the model boxes as he would normally for each scene? Photograph them and then use them as the backdrop. So the backdrops are just as designed as it would normally be. It's not just getting photos off the net. It's everything's been really thought about. And Grant, who's a chief executive at Pace, he's a whiz at After Effects and special effects, and that's why he's the one that does the projections you were talking about. So he's working really hard at kind of like flying carpet sequences and all this kind of stuff. So we did a lot of filming in green screen that he's then adding all these different layers to. And Alan Orr has written some great songs for it as well. So everyone's got various strings to their bow, and we're just putting it all. It's a bit mad, we say we've only got 2 weeks to get it all together. It's all a bit mad just now, but everyone's just doing everything they can, using all the different skills that they've got to try and make this exciting.
Well,
that all looks fantastic. There's one image in there, Andy, if you've got a still of it, it's outside Castelvecchie, and I thought there's a woman at the right hand side. If you look carefully, a wee man there, Andy.
Aye,
he was zooming in his bed.
I can't zoom in that one, Gary.
Oh, well, she's looking as if to say, "What the hell's going on here?"
That was funny, because they opened the chip shop just for us. I can't believe how busy it was. We kept on having to turn folk away. They're like, "Are you opening on Monday now?" It's like, "No, we're just doing our filming." But we got the owner. The owner is he's been great. Opened up for us and served us some nice chips, and makes a little guest appearance.
Well,
look forward to that.
I've got to say, Alan is doing. I think we've missed the trick. Who would have known that face masks and leggings were the combination that we ought to be going for? So I think he's done well, but also Widow Swanky and those light pink boots.
I mean, we spent a long time in Paisley wandering about like that, and it's funny how you just become normalised to it, and you wonder why everyone's staring.
Staring at you. Oh, fantastic! So, I think we better be getting our next guest on, and we've just talked about, and the character.
talk to you all night without Chris coming on, but let's bring Chris on.
Fantastic. Are you ready, Chris?
Hey! I just want to start by saying it's really great to be at the 34th Annual Patrick Stewart Appreciation Society. And who's this gate crashing? Who's the gate crasher? Really great. I'm so glad we're all together again and we can talk about Patrick and how much he does for the planet. Anyway, how are you doing, guys?
Wonderful, Chris, and yourself?
I'm not too shabby. Yep.
Good. Great to have you on the show, Chris. Welcome to our Panto special. We were hoping you were going to be coming on with all the gear on.
Listen, if I did that, you couldn't speak to me. You'd be too nervous around me. You know, I'm that hot looking. You'd be chatting up. You wouldn't get any. There'd be no conversation. You'd be too nervous. You'd be trying to get a date out of me. That's the whole thing. Would be ruined.
What were you said, Castelvicci there? Were you the one furthest up the hill?
I was. Do you know, funny that woman that you think is a woman was a guy. So there you go.
No.
He was doing his best to pretend that he didn't care. Do you know what I mean? To pretend that there was nothing untoward happening, but also couldn't kind of take his eyes off us.
Because
chips.
That kind of stuff in Paisley all the time.
I told my dad to stay away from the chip shop.
Anyway, before we move on, there's some breaking news, Andy.
Go on. What's the breaking news?
One each at St. Murn's one each.
Oh, is it? We've got Suman Tufak, one each. Either of you St. Murn supporters?
No. Aberdeen, actually.
Aberdeen?
Aberdeen. It's very good, it's very good, it's very good, I just come down for Aberdeen today, I just got the train. No, I'm an Aberdeen fan for my sins. I was brainwashed by my granddad when I was a young boy, and that was it. But I appreciate St Mirren for their great footballing style.
Are you your manager, a Paisley boy?
He is a very good manager, actually.
Stayed up the Apple Drive up the Dig Bar.
Is that right? I didn't know.
Yep.
Very good.
So, Chris, this lost in Panto land, and it's gone from being on stage, which I guess is comfortable territory to you, to now being online and virtual and using a whole host of new swanky technology. How are you finding that as a new thing to do and deliver your craft?
Find out tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be different, isn't it? It's like, for any actor, this is totally alien. Well, there's a sense of a medium that you're sort of creeping into. You're doing a bit of sort of television, a filmic sort of acting, but actually within a Panto world. So, to be honest with you, tomorrow's new territory for everybody, but we're raring to go. And actually, I think the best thing about it, without sounding too cheesy, is that we've got a really great company of people. Because again, I know the other actors are listening. If I don't give them a bit of a big up, they'll be pure raging tomorrow. So just to keep the peace, guys, you know. So it's great. We're really looking forward to it, and I think it'll be very different. The live aspect, obviously, having people watching from home will be great for them. They don't have to leave their seats, or couches. But I think it'll work really well, actually, and I'm really confident because we have got a great story. You know, for the want of bringing like 3-4 stories together to make a pantomime as such, I think it runs really well, and it'll be a good laugh, and actually the interactions that we are sort of trying to slot in, I think will go brilliantly well, you know.
And mistakes and interaction and all that's part of Panto, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's why we hire Chris. There's always lots of mistakes.
Exactly, Andy. Exactly. You're very good. That's the only reason I get hired, is to basically make everything look good.
Oh, I know.
Are you the go-to mistake guy?
I am, yeah. For the whole of my career, for 20 years, it's basically the guy that can really arse this up. Who do we ask?
But I guess, I mean, you on the stage you will have all your fellow actors there, so you will be able to kind of make the occasional mistake and bounce off of each other. And you know, you've been working really close over the last 5 weeks or so, haven't you?
No, you kidding? No, 5 weeks. No. Well, I think the whole process started literally 5 weeks ago, which I have to say is a real tribute to the folk that managed to pull this together.
Yeah.
Actors, we were only brought in a week and a half ago. Is that right, Andy?
Wow.
Yeah, it started last week. Yeah.
Last week. So really, we're a week and a half in, and we start on Saturday. So the usual process is that you get sort of 3 weeks, and that's Andy would start writing it. Maybe I don't know when he start writing the whole process. March, there you go. So March, and then you come to rehearsals beginning of November usually, and you've got sort of 2 weeks to sort of feel out and sort of trying to throw stuff in, etc. But everything's been really kind of pushed rapidly forward. So, but we've got a great bunch of folk doing it. There's no danger that's going to be. I mean, if anything does fall on its arse, it will be on the best possible way.
Yeah, and on the edge, Chris. I mean, that sounds like great script.
Gary, I live in the edge. I live in the edge, Gary. That's all I do. I do.
All right.
I live in the edge, Gary. Just get to the bus stop. I start noising people up at bus stops, and then I see what happens. And honestly, I just looked at your Christmas. Do you want to see really crap decoration? Watch this. This is the only tree I've got. I was given this last year by somebody.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's a man who lives on the edge. He lives dangerously.
That's deed. That's a deed tree.
Oh, listen. I think indeed when I got it.
Seen better days, that one for sure. Now, Chris, at this time of year, you have to get dressed up in garish women's clothes, pink leatherette boots, face full of makeup and a wig.
I know. If I don't get a date out of this, I don't know what's wrong, to be fair. No, it's great. I mean, look, I sort of skipped your question earlier on. That live thing is what absolutely feeds a pantomime.
Yeah.
And especially in Paisley. See, Paisley audiences, honestly, I mean, the crack I get back sometimes, I actually remember lines that they give me and I go, I'm putting that in the next show. And it's just brilliant and sort of getting stuck right into everybody. Not literally, but as close as I can get.
Aye.
And, no, it's great. It's good. It's a great time to be working as an actor. It's a bit of a, again, going to sound a bit cheesy. It's a gift, soul medicine for me. Every year I look forward to doing Panto. You're telling jokes, you're giving families, generations of families together. It's grandpas, grandmas, cousins, your aunties, down to the sort of grandchildren of the same family, all sitting, pissing themselves laughing at these jokes, and it brings everybody together perhaps for the only time of year. It's really special. And any performer, I think, you gain something out doing it, as well as being part of a company of actors and having a laugh amongst each other. Once you get that crack off the audience, it's absolutely brilliant. It's I mean, I go home, really happy usually. I come in miserable and then I leave really happy.
We know, having spoken to Tom Urie, that he prepares for October onwards and how much he's missing Panto this year. So you're well lucky and fortunate, I would imagine, that you're actually in a role, you're working and you're having fun.
Yeah, big time. So professionally, you're like, I'm winning, and then personally, I'm winning a watch as well. You can't, and that's the thing. There is a lot of people out of work, and listen, as a business, as an industry, everybody's pulling it together and trying to get as many things on as they possibly can to give people jobs, and that's been vital. It's great to just bring a little bit of joy to everybody, and I'm sure Tom Urie will be back bigger next year, better and bigger next year. No bothers about it. Hopefully, all will.
Yeah.
I was going to say as well, Chris, it must take you forever to get ready every day.
It does, because I'm crap at it.
Yeah.
So it takes me longer because, I mean, this is I'd done Dame before I came to Paisley once as an ugly sister, and my makeup was rotten then, and now it's just a little bit partially better than utter crap, basically. But it takes me about, I think probably on average, maybe about 35 minutes, and that's me kind of on a good, but sometimes I hit it better than others. The one problem is the eyeliner. I always have to get somebody in the cast to do it, and this year I don't have that because of COVID, so my eyes are going to look rotten.
Looking out for that.
That's
I mean,
right.
the rest of me will look beautiful.
You got a run with that?
I look like you, Gary. I look a wee bit like you, Andy, as well. We've made an effort tonight, coming up with the same haircut and stuff like that. But it's only Andy McGregor that's let us all down. But we'll not hold it against him, not yet. I'll flag him off tomorrow. But it's a process, and actually, I find I get quicker as this sort of run goes.
Yeah,
I just get into a bit of a rhythm with it, and it's the same with like costume changes, which actually Darren Brownlee and Danny Heron, the two other, and Alan Orwell. Danny Heron and Darren Brownlee have got to basically do various costume changes throughout it, and that's just sort of thing that once you get in a bit of a rhythm, you sort of find that you get quicker and quicker at it as you go.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to watch it, and it's obviously, as Andy mentioned, all the tickets for it have sold out. So these boxes that you're sending out to the audience that you'll have queues for, I guess, throughout the show, they're all sold out. So that's a great success. It shows you that the audience demand is still there. Just because it's COVID, and I think probably this year more than anything else, we need a right good laugh, and I'm sure COVID and Trump and all these things will probably feature quite heavily throughout the show. So I'm looking forward to it. But of course, you can watch it free online. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's on YouTube, and it'll be on Facebook as well. I think the Pace website or Redfordshire Council website will both of them, I'm sure, will have links when it's good to go.
Yeah.
It starts on Saturday.
Saturday. Bring the joy, yeah. You won't know a line when it comes to Saturday.
Is it online twice on Saturday? Have you got a normal matinee, then a night one?
Now, Gary, you would think that we would know this. Do you know the answers to this, Chris?
Not a clue. Really, all that happens is you turn up to the theatre and people just shove you on stage and you go, right, that's it, we're kicking off.
Yeah.
People tell you what to do.
I think we've got one at I think we've got a rehearsal Saturday, and then we do a show. So I think maybe there's a show definitely at 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that,
what's happening tomorrow?
Saturday there's one at 7:30, and then Sunday there's a matinee. Wednesday is a matinee, and Thursday there's 3 shows on Christmas Eve: 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock.
You'll be close from the end of that.
What's that?
I said you'll be.
Doing that Zoom thing.
It's going to be really easy for the actors this year, because I think normally there's, I think it was 2-3 show days a week, and every other day was almost like a 2-show day. They do something ridiculous, not like 70 shows in like 4 weeks or something. Whereas now you're doing 9 shows, so it's going to feel like just like when you get started, you'll be done.
I usually.
What's tomorrow about? Is that dress rehearsal tomorrow?
No, tomorrow's all about working out how's this going to happen, because we've not been in the theatre yet. So this is the first time where like the technology and the actors meet, and hopefully it'll be a beautiful union. But it could be a car crash. Either way, something will happen.
I just want to put this out here. I noticed that you've got viewers from Chicago, and I would like to vouch for the rest of the company and say that the success that we make of this Panto, we'll gladly take it to Chicago. We'll go out our way, give it to Chicago. I'll even go to New York. I don't mind. I'll go to New York. I'll bring my big pink boots. I'll bring the wee guy from the chip shop. We'll have a great tear.
Very generous. Very generous.
I'm looking at
everybody. You will go on holiday.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there'll be no hesitation if you get an offer to go and perform Panto in Chicago or New York. You'll be there like a drop of a hat.
I need to, honestly, Andy, I need to think about it. I like it.
Ponder on it. But
it would be fun to get there. But see, when you start doing the show, you'll be like, oh no, it isn't. Eerie silence and confused Americans.
We've got breaking news.
What's going on? What are they doing?
We've got a scout in. We've been watching.
Your offer has arrived.
Listen, Elise, thank you very much. We'll keep your couch. We'll all be over. I'll bring a cargo with me.
The only thing you've got to do is if you go with Elise, she's clearly a Paolo Nutini fan, so you would have to take Paolo along with you, of course.
I was about to say she might make me a better man. Hey! You can have that for free, Elise. You can have it for free. Have it all. As long as I get your couch.
Is Alfredo on the show? Is Alfredo on the show?
Yeah. He's in, we do an opening sequence around Paisley, and we've got a few. I won't say who's. A few well-kent faces who are popping up. One of whom is Alfredo.
And then
I
I
bet
thought,
the Provost gets everywhere. Lorraine will be in it.
Oh, I don't know.
You've asked Lorraine, have you?
I think you've just put us. I think someone somewhere's going, oh no, who's meant to send that email?
Is there any? Myself and Gary always like to try and get ourselves sort of, roles and things. We're trying to get into this Paisley Witches movie that's going to be getting made. So, any space for two bald guys in the show at all, guys?
There's only one Humpty Dumpty in it, so you need to fight for the part.
Oh dear, dear.
Chris, you're wigged up. You're wigged up in the show. We need a couple of.
I know, true. But can you actually? If you're going to do Humpty Dumpty, you need to be able to sit on a wall. Just need to make sure you can actually act sitting on a wall. Andy will audition you. It's a 3-hour workshop, and if you can't sit on a wall properly, just forget it, boys. Just, you know what I mean? No, I'm sure you do really good.
But it's also falling off the wall after you sat on it. That's an important.
Oh,
I can decide on a wall.
Ugly sisters.
We can shave Alan Orr's head. We can shave Alan Orr. All the stunts. He does all the stunts. Any stunt you want, he does them all. And we can chuck him off a wall. Alan Orr, chuck him off a wall. Chuck him off. Alan Orr, chuck him off a wall.
How did you rhyme Orr with wall? How did you do that?
What's that?
How did you rhyme Alan Orr with wall?
Andy, I'm a very good guy, you know what I mean?
What?
It really worked.
He's got it going on, Chris. There's offers coming in and the private messages, Chris.
Listen, see next year it'll be solo Panto in Chicago and in New York. Me and Elise and Erin and all of them will all just come along. I'll take my rucksack, backpacking, bring out the pink boots as a winner. I'll have one joke. I'll have one song which basically consists of a war and a photo of Alan Orr, and that'll be it. And nobody will know who Alan Orr is. It's going to be great. What a success!
And then Aberdeen's twang.
That's it. I'll do it like that because that'll really get across the Chicago audience.
Now, I love going to Pantos. They're fantastic, but I have one tip for Pantos. If you're in the audience, before you go to the Panto, empty your bladder. And don't consume any more liquid because there's nothing worse than needing to go to the toilet during the middle of a Panto because it puts a big target on you.
Yeah, or you could just go, but sneakily,
I couldn't do that.
No.
I mean, the stage would be a bit reeking, but,
Aye.
I realise I've really brought the tone down there.
Steam commentary that stage left.
Well, that's what they used to do, though. Not at the pantomimes, but up in the Panopticon, the kids would go in and they would put dung in their pockets to keep themselves hot, and they just went where they were sitting to keep themselves warm as well. That's why the place didn't rock, because it was so full of yes.
That word we cannot say. Panto.
I think everybody's doing it. Paula Radcliffe done that at a marathon once, didn't she?
She did.
Paula Radcliffe.
She never heard the end of it.
How did we go on to Paula Radcliffe?
Pissy Paula. That's what they call her.
That's what she's known to her friends.
Oh dear. Fantastic.
Hey, that's an idea for a character. See next year's Panto.
What, Paula Radcliffe peeing in the street?
The love interest could be Pissy Paula.
Oh man,
Gary, your great talents are wasted.
Our tips for side's coming right out tonight. It's Pissy Paula and Crappy Chris. There you go.
It's all. Listen, if we don't get some sort of awards from Creative Scotland for taking round a Pissy Paula, next year this whole system's gone to pot. The industry's finished.
Of course, it's a family show.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, but listen, there's been a lot worse. We've had Piero Pericini on, and
he was the worst.
He was the worst. Even Janie Godley was relatively tame in comparison to Piero.
Yeah. Piero was.
Oh, fantastic!
With Janie Godley and Piero on a comedy week, and we're wondering who was going to be the first to swear. And Piero came on straight away.
Right away.
That was it. But I've got a cracking wee image for behind the scenes as well. I don't think I've showed this one. And
so those dots in the ground there are 2 meters apart. So everything's being directed. That's me looking like Bane there, directing. Everything's being directed. We have to keep everything. All the actors have to be 2 meters apart at all times, which is a real headache because Panto's so physical, and actors just get naturally drawn to one another, especially Chris when he has his makeup on. So it's really, it's like keeping that distance is really hard, but we have to do it, to follow the COVID regulations and things like props. You can't hand a prop from one character to another. So multiple props have to be made, and they're going to have to cheat it when they're getting passed around. All these considerations. But as you say, like I have hired Tom Cruise to stand in the corner and shout at people when things.
Chris, is that you in the red trousers?
It is. They're very fetching, aren't they?
I was going to say, is that because everybody else is in there? Do you go out in public like that when you're not wearing the...
Andy, I go clubbing in that. That's why I'm so successful. That's why I'm happy with this.
Just back for a tour at Guantanamo.
Exactly. Actually, they're called Thai fisherman pants, and they're very comfy, and they make me feel good. Right? They make me feel good.
Oh, you look smashing in them.
I do look smashing. I look even better in pink boots with loads of makeup on, running down a street in Paisley.
But you look amazing there. You really do look amazing.
Tell you what,
fantastic.
That social distance thing, you see it in soaps, don't you? Somebody running into a room and they're going, I would normally hug you, but I need to stop. You actually see it happening. It must be dead weird to act in that environment.
Well, true. And I'm a very, as a guy, I'm very tactile as a human being, actually. I've really missed physical contact with anybody. And then naturally, as an actor, I do tend to sort of go towards and sort of try and hold people, etc., etc. And just actual slapstick, Andy's sort of referring to that earlier on, things like physical comedy. I grew up on Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and Laurel and Hardy. These are heroes of mine. And I think I try to always put into Panto. And it is missed by myself, even though we've done as much as we possibly can physically together. But you're trying, obviously, adhere to make sure you're safe. That's the other thing. But it's tough. It is tough. But listen, I take it any day that and sit in the flat, for the duration of a month at Christmas doing nothing else. It's been a total safe. It is soul medicine without sounding cheesy. I know but it really is for myself personally. I'm really looking forward to getting cracking actually. And tomorrow will be long, and we'll sort of try and weave this all together. Yeah. But the process as a company for Pace, for Paisley, for the audiences that would usually go to that Panto, I think it's going to be a really great time. And for anybody that joins in it beyond that, just a little bit of joy, isn't it? That's all you're trying to do at Christmas time, pantomime. That's all it's about. Entertainment, making people laugh, and
Absolutely, Chris. And if tonight's anything to go by, the Panto is going to be stunningly funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stunning, Chris.
Yeah.
lots of good comments in from our audience. Funny show so far. That tells you about me and Gary. We've been doing this for 34 weeks. maybe we should give it up, Gary. Where does guys take over?
But where does Jackie live? Because that's the crucial point here.
No, in Chicago.
Not to sound like a stalker. I just mean as in, if it was anywhere with half interest, and we could maybe add it to the list. Chicago, New York.
West End of Paisley.
Achtermukti.
Aye, absolutely. But it's going down well in Chicago. Down well in Chicago.
Elizabeth.
You guys are killing me. That's a different kind of show.
I know exactly. Very dark, Elizabeth. Very dark. You went down a really dark path there, Elizabeth. We're just doing so well. We're so clean.
Fantastic.
Right, so to remind us, guys, to finish the show off in this slot, remind us, when's the show on and how can everyone get to see it?
Show starts this Saturday. There's one show at 7:30 at night. You can watch it online on YouTube or Facebook. You can get the links from the Pace website. And then it runs for the rest of that week. There's 9 shows up to, which take us from Saturday up to Christmas Eve, with 3 shows on Christmas Eve. They're slightly different times on different days, but usually there's a few days where there's a 3 o'clock and a 7:30. And it's just free for anyone just to log in and to join in.
So there's not a time really, Andy and Chris, that over the next week or so that you can't not see the Panto.
No,
exactly. It's on every day.
Yeah, it's on every day. Yeah.
And knowing you guys and the way it works, every show will be different, I would imagine. There'll be a wee tweak here and there. And
yeah. By every show will be different. It's the actors will forget different lines at different points. Absolutely.
yeah.
That is the fun. And that's why I wanted to make it live, because that's the fun in Panto when actors bounce off one another. Or really, what I'm really looking forward to is the audience interaction, because that's where you can get most of the laughs come from. That way, you just don't know what you're getting. And we have the added ammunition of being able to see into people's rooms as well. You know what I mean? So that's quite good. Yeah, there's a lot of ammunition to this.
Can't wait, guys. Can't wait for the Panto. Thanks so much for coming on the show and actually not just break a leg for the Panto. Fingers crossed for 2021 for everyone, for you guys. Anyway, I've had to interject.
Andy, we'll break the news.
St Mirren winning 2-1.
Oof! Oh, who you playing? St Johnstone?
No, a team for Govan.
Really? Oh, you dancer! Get in there! Come on, the buddies! Come on!
Yeah,
I just want to point out that I had some St Mirren jokes in it, kind of making fun of St Mirren a wee bit, and Mr. Alan Orr very subtly just changed them to Morton jokes.
Of course, it's global now. You can have a joke about anybody. But that's brilliant. That's 2-1 to the Buddies. Quarter final of the League Cup.
Wow, brilliant! That
fantastic.
Is magic.
And if you want,
man's night.
And if you want details, pacetheatre.com. That's the place to go. Gents, it's been a real pleasure. Good luck with the Panto. We'll be watching in. We'll be laughing along with you. We wish you all the very best of luck. And as Gary says, here's hoping we return to more normal times in 2021. But we'll either see you in Paisley or we'll see you in Chicago, one or the others.
Listen, yep. Both would be very good. Both would be equally good.
World tour. Paisley, Chicago.
New York and Glenburn. Don't forget it, Gary.
World tour. Paisley, Chicago.
Guys, thanks for coming on.
We'll see
you later on. Cheers. Bye now. Bye. Cheers. That's going to be fantastic.
Brilliant show, Andy. What fantastic guests. And you never know what you're going to get with guests. But that was such a laugh. That was just a brilliant fun.
Oh, I mean, as we always say, the guests make the show, and you can tell that when you see so much brilliant feedback coming in. And, you know, I think it's amazing because the Pace Theatre is relatively well known in Paisley, and the Panto that they put on every year is always well attended. It's always really busy, and then you get something like COVID coming along and just knocking that thing sideways. So you've got to say hats off to the entire team there, the cast, the crew, everyone that's got involved in what seems like really short timescales to be able to put on a show to give us all a laugh.
Yeah, and Chris will no need lines.
Oh. You'll not need lines at all. I'm sure Andy will have them directed to a T, but I can imagine Chris will be wandering off, and you've got Alan Orr there as well, who's
that was going to be right. And thanks to everyone at Pace that's tuned in tonight for tuning in. We hope you have a brilliant time at your Panto. As Andy said, what an effort! 5 weeks' notice, and you saying so you've been working on this for 5 weeks, Chris, and it's kind of what 2?
Aye,
and
absolutely.
Tomorrow bringing it all together is some effort.
To cheer us all up, Gary, at this particular time of year. So, folks, if you can find some time, there's going to be plenty of viewings on. Go to pacetheatre.com. You can check them out. Follow them on Facebook. Follow them on social media. They're on Twitter as well. We'll post up when we are when the shows are going to be going on as well. But I think, if you can all join in and support the fantastic crew at Pace and the laugh that they want to give you. It's been a tough year. What better way to end it than having a laugh with the entire cast and crew of the Pace Panto? Going to be brilliant.
Aye, absolutely. Well done, Grant. Thanks for tuning in tonight, Grant. Thanks for you and all your team. It's going to be brilliant. Tonight's taster has just whetted the appetite for what's going to be. I think it's going to be a riot.
Oh, it's going to be good. And we'll just have to. And every night will be different, probably. So I'm watching a few times. There's Lauren there mentioning all the prop makers as well. With the sounds of things, have all been busy. So another cracking show, Gary. But it's the 16th of December.
Yes.
And in a week's time, it's going to be, it's only going to be Christmas Eve.
Okay.
What have we got planned? Have we even got that far yet?
Well, it's going to be a special show, Andy.
Oh, they're all special, Gary. They're all special, these shows.
That's me. That's a way of me saying, I don't know what's happening. I know what's happening in the middle of Christmas and New Year.
Aye, we're going to have a wee kind of look back, maybe.
We're having a look back. We're having wasn't that a crap year? But actually, the Wednesday night shows how much fun we've had, the magnificent people that we've had on here. We say it every week, the guests make our show. We are really privileged. We just join it together and kind of link it together. Hopefully, we do that in an entertaining way.
Yeah.
But the guests are fantastic. So we're going to have a look back and say thanks to everyone for tuning in and thanks to everyone for coming on the show.
Yeah, but next week we'll figure something out.
Of course we will. Of course we will. We'll figure something out. We'll be here next Wednesday, God willing. Maybe we'll reflect on the Panto, Andy.
Well, true enough. We'll have to figure out what we could do. So anyway, folks, have a wonderful evening. I hope if you're getting into the festive spirit, that all your plans are coming along well and that you can manage. I know there's, COVID and there's restrictions and lockdown, but hopefully you're all planning an absolutely wonderful Christmas. And if you're writing cards or sending gifts or whatever you're doing, I hope the next week is great for you. Be safe up until then. And hopefully we'll all see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, look forward to it next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night.